Greetings, I'm Frankie Craig and I'm from ourpsychicart.com. I welcome you to this Alchemy of Art conversation where I'm speaking with amazing creators from all over the world about how creativity has become a part of their spiritual journey. And today I have Susie Baker, who is known as Willow to me and to all who know her. She's from Willow's Quirky Corner on Facebook, and she is an amazing artist. I mean, she goes into all kinds of different medias, but I'm particularly fond of her watercolours and her alcohol ink work. I've known Willow for a very long time. She's been with our psychic art pretty much from the get-go. She's my Reiki grandma. And she's been an inspirer of mine for a really long time. And I'm just so grateful that she's, as always, open-hearted and willing to share her journey and wisdom with this tribe. And yeah, I'm honoured to have you here today with us, Willow. Thank you. Thank you. So, yeah, where are you actually located?
I'm in Suffolk now, Lowestoft in Suffolk. In
Suffolk in the UK, beautiful part of England.
We moved up here from Kent in 2019.
Yeah, and I was Kent as well.
I know.
Yeah.
I know you was, yeah. And we also had a little holiday place on the Isle of Sheppey, so not far from what your mum's holiday place, actually.
Yeah.
Whitstable, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah, she is up in Whitstable. Oh, lovely. Yeah, it's a lovely part of the world. And so are you when do you get to do your creating?
I'm creating all the time in my head. It's always been that way. It's a lot of it doesn't make the board. But it triggers my imagination, and yeah, so it's always there, really, all the time.
Yeah.
Even if I go for a walk, I live I'm very lucky. I live opposite a park, but not far from the beach, and I'll just look at the trees and the flowers that are growing, and they're very inspiring to me.
Yeah, I could definitely relate to that. Nature definitely is one of my greatest inspirers as well. And I'm the same. There's a lot of ideas here, and it takes a while for them all to build, to manifest. So what's the story behind Willow's Quirky Corner?
Well, long time ago, I kept getting in my head Willow Wand, and I don't know why. And then I was sort of going crazy. Well, what do you want me to do? Get a willow wand, make a wand. All right, I made a wand out of willow. No, that wasn't it. And then one day in the New Forest, I looked down and there was a piece of willow on the floor, and I picked it up and I thought, right, I've got it now. I've got my wand now. What's it all about? And basically I was getting that that's what I should call myself when I'm following my spiritual path. Mm-hmm. So I did, and things changed. I changed. It really opened me up more. So yeah, I was guided, really. But I've always painted anyway, and I've always been very spiritual. At 16, I was 16 years old, and I wanted to learn to meditate, and there was no sort of classes them days other than transcendental meditation with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. And I was on my beginning wage. My first wages was £16 a week. And I know, this is laughable. So I went to a talk, and I approached the teacher, and I said, look, this is all I earn. I can't really afford to do. I was asking a lot of money to learn. And he said, what can you donate? And it sounded pitiful. I think it was like £5 or something. And he said, yeah, okay. And he taught me transcendental meditation. So I followed that for a few years, and then discovered journeying and all the other kinds of meditation. And now I just do whatever takes my fancy, really, with that. But I think that's a really important part of a spiritual journey. It's about discovering yourself. And I was already drawing and painting anyway, but that sort of developed it more because I was seeing other ways. I was journeying within myself.
Yeah. And so when you're creating, you're bringing that kind of meditative state to your work?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you try and kind of detach from the thinking and just kind of honour the flow of what is
absorbed into that realm.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if I'm stuck, I will look at a tree or a plant, and I will see beings within that.
Right. Yes.
Different energies, and that will take me on a whole new journey. So if I'm inspired, I might do a few sketches and then develop a painting, and then it's I'm journeying with it. I'm in a meditative state while I'm doing that.
Right. Yeah. And all these, synchronicities and intuitions and feelings and smells and things kind of all become a part of this journey. Comes absolutely off of the canvas. It's all, life is all part of whatever it is you're creating.
Well, we are creation. We're all part of it. We're part of that energy. And I believe that, we've all got this creative energy in us in some form or another. And it's really important to find in which way you express that.
Yeah.
But I think we're all continually evolving. Like your mandalas are absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
That's your path. That's not my path, Right. But you probably find that you go into a journey while you're doing your mandalas.
I always take a deep breath before I start creating anything. I actually, this is the truth. I haven't done an animal one yet because I'm afraid of the teachings. There's, that whole letting go, life and death. It's a deep one, especially with the animals. Yeah. So I know, if I start this, then I'm in it, and it's very practical teachings as well. Like, things will happen in my life as part of the wisdom that this mandala is sharing, and sometimes they're not always, like I said, I always take a deep breath because sometimes it's a very challenging thing, but it's a blockage in me, so that I actually am getting so much out of it.
You've recognised that, haven't you?
Oh,
yeah. So you work with it, and we've all got blockages and no-go areas because we're scared of going too deep.
Yeah.
But if you learn something from it, that's growth, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's what I love about creating in this way. Yeah, I think that's what this psychic and spiritual art all is. It's even more so than whatever it is that you just created. Because back in the day, my stuff was very abstract, very loose, but the learning and growth that I was getting was phenomenal. It's what kept me going when my mind wanted to compare. Oh, so-and-so can do a perfect whatever. You know, I had to keep focusing on my journey, what's in me right now, and keep honouring that and letting that flow and evolve. And I couldn't have done a mandala 10 years ago. It was an evolving path. And it was all that inner work and the practicing that I think allowed me to open up to that. So,
yeah. And, you know, it's experimental as well. Everything's, where is this going to take you?
yeah.
And like on a deep level, and also through play, using different materials and substrates, you are learning all the time. You know, it's you're experimenting and seeing where that takes you. You know, and you sort of connect to the elements as well. I mean, at the moment, I've become obsessed by making inks.
Oh, wonderful!
Colour. And you know, that incorporates all the elements.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like the medicines when we make them from plants. You know, you're contacting the spirit of the plant. So you're doing the same with inks. You're contacting the spirit of it. You know, and you're being avoided with that. So that's another. I've got my hand in so many different things at the moment. Like, so I can't have one book going. I've got to have 3 or 4 books on the go. It's the same with art, really. But yeah.
Oh, I want to play with Willow's inks. I can see that.
Oh, do you know, you should have a go. You should have a go. It's really good, botanical inks. They're not all light fast, but you know, if you're doing if you photograph them, you could turn them into like prints or whatever, you know, after. But it's all part of the journey.
Yeah.
Because it's the spirit, isn't it? Spirit in the plant, you know. I mean, plants are quite amazing, aren't they?
Oh yeah, definitely. I have.
You know, I mean, they can talk to us and also. And I've always been. I'm a pagan anyway, so I'm very in touch with. You know, what's going on in the natural world, you know.
Well, I've shared before that the mandalas were born of my ayahuasca experiences. It was that plant that really helped unleash.
What plant was it?
No, the ayahuasca.
Oh, the ayahuasca, yeah.
Yeah. And I worked with it over one weekend in 2015. I had set some intentions beforehand, and one of them was, you know, I really want my artwork to, you know, reach more people and do more healing. And then all of a sudden, a few months after that weekend, this geometry just was in my head. Like it was so clear, I could literally just take it out of my head and put it down, and I'd never done anything like that before.
Wow.
But I know it was directly connected to that plant, and still now, same as you. Nature's always talking and guiding. And there's a video on my YouTube channel where I've tuned into the subtle energy of a bee balm leaf to just listen, and it actually gave me this inspiration to suddenly start creating just like simple leaf patterns with it, like when we were kids, just stamping the pattern. It was beautiful. And so I wasn't, you know, expecting to do anything creative or artistic or anything, but just listening and being present with nature. You can hear it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can hear it and feel it.
And I can see that in obviously, there's so much of your work is inspired by nature. particularly love all of your nature spirits and the ones that you find on your walks as well.
Many of them don't actually make it to the Facebook page, you know, they're gone, you know, they're snapped up, or they just get filed away somewhere. But I was running out of space, so I was, you know, I had to clear out a while back and just gave a lot away because it's too much, because like, it's a continual process. It doesn't have to be painting with the alchemy. It can come out in any form, you know. But I think being creative on your spiritual journey is all part of your growth in whatever way that is.
I totally agree. A lot of us think, you know, creativity is painting or drawing. The mind just immediately makes that connection. When it's baking, it's gardening, it can even be your exercise and movement, your
absolutely,
you know, aromatherapy, oil making and things like that. I mean, there's creativity can be applied in so many different forms, and
always, even the way you arrange your room, you know, is artistic. And you know that if you place something somewhere and it doesn't feel right, you move it. So that is a form of creativity.
It definitely is.
Everybody, you know, we have these energies flowing through us all the time, and it's about learning to recognise those and express them in a positive manner. And not only for others, it's about ourselves and discovering ourselves on that journey. You know.
And I think as an artist that's helped a lot, because I see a lot of other artists, their intention from the get-go is to make something that they're going to sell or make something that everyone else is going to love. And I think that I know that I suffer when I get in that mindset, and I feel so much better just doing what feels good for me.
The moment I stopped trying to please other people, my art improved. You know, because there's always that pressure. Oh, you could sell that. You could make money. You could do this. You could do that. And it totally wasn't the objective. You know, it wasn't what I wanted to do. It wasn't about that. Because then you're just trying to please others, and then you get, oh, they see things different to you do, and it's, oh, that isn't quite how I imagined it. You know, that's why I don't like doing commissions, really, because people have their own ideas. So now I just do what I do, and if they like it and I sell one, that's a bonus. And it helps me buy some more supplies.
I was going to say. We're just feeding our habits.
Absolutely,
and it's the same for me. The more I've let go of that. I do it because I absolutely love it. I have to honour what the flow is. I've definitely been enjoying. I haven't been doing commissions for the last year, and just building up a nice little collection that I'd like to do an exhibition and stuff with. But it's all just, you know, when you're connecting with people to do artwork as well, it's quite a process and a journey, you know, to boot, that you're going on one anyway, and you're also holding space for someone else too. And, you know, sometimes it's nice just to take a break from that and truly just do what is really flowing through you, rather than it gives you more of a chance to let go of the mind again. It's like this is so about getting out of your own head, you know. And I think, being able to take away any of those questions or ideas out of your mind definitely helps honour your true flow. So
yes, definitely. Yeah. And a lot of the inspiration as well comes from dream time, you know, or I might be reading about some god or goddess, and that inspires me. So, yeah, and I just think it's all real, all those different levels of energies out there. They're all real. Well, they are in my head anyway.
They are to me as well. So maybe we're just crazy, but I'm all right with being crazy.
So am I. Yeah.
When did you kind of make that kind of connection with your art and the spiritual journey side of it, or was it just something that seemed to?
I think it's something that's just evolved over time. As I say, I've always sort of drawn and painted, and it used to be a lot from my imagination anyway, but I've always been a spiritual seeker.
Right.
As well, even as a young child, I looked at different religions and, you know, thinking, well, there must be something more, otherwise, you know, what's all this about? That means if we've got no recall of this, then there's no point. This isn't real, you know, life. So I've always been a seeker. I believe I've found my path now. You know, and that is through nature and the seasons and, you know, the evolvement of the planet, really. And we don't seem too happy the way it's going at the moment, but there's always hope, isn't there, that we can restore a lot more natural world. And be greener, and that's all part of my journey as well, you know, is try and less waste and, you know, like reuse old canvases and rather than just trash them. So, yeah, it's all part of it.
Yeah, trying to be more sustainable with everything that we're working with. And yeah, I mean, I literally had this conversation with somebody yesterday, and yeah, it's hard because the outside world doesn't seem like it's shifting in the direction that we would like.
That's right.
But I'm a huge believer that we're in this huge age of truth, and there's just a lot of, you know, truths aren't always pretty, and now it's kind of all
lesson.
Yeah, and we're all learning so much. I mean, it's typical humans. Things have to get bad before we start actually doing anything about it. But when you must know with the kids, you know, you connect with the kids and they're like, you know, I'm apologizing to them. I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, because some of them are so mature, they're so much more evolved, and they can see so much more than some of the adults I know. And it's like, oh my gosh, you know. So I believe that you know, a lot of the kids are going to be making a lot of different choices, and Earth is stronger than we may give her credit for. It's humans that aren't going to survive.
We're another conversation totally. You know, we could look at it, we're the plague on the earth. Right. We are actually part of the earth as well. And we haven't evolved. In actual fact, I think animals are probably more evolved than we are, because
I think so.
Trash and etc. And plants are amazing.
Very, yes.
The more you learn about plants, it's like incredible.
The wisdom is ancient. It's ancient, you know.
Yeah.
And I learn a lot about community and sustainability and reciprocity through just connecting with the plants. You know, they teach a lot about, I mean, you see how cooperative bees are, how organised ants are. I mean, whether you like them or not, you've got to respect it, you know. They're amazing.
Absolutely.
They're not here trashing the
Well, they've all
forest.
got their role to play in the environment. And, you know, I remember I used to hate wasps until I discovered that they're a very important part of the environment, with plants and pollinating and keeping bugs down and stuff like that. And it's only when they get drunk on the rotting apples in the autumn is when they get a bit
mean.
they've done their job, you know.
Yeah.
And they just get intoxicated. And in fact, all animals get intoxicated. You know, they look for plants to, I mean, look at cats, you know, horses, they all do, all animals do it. And it's a way of saying, well, I've done my job now, I'm going to go and celebrate.
Go chill.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, this has been wonderful, like learning and having your perspective on things. I mean, how important do you think art is to our society? Do you think we have enough?
I think it's extremely important that everyone finds a way to express their creativity as part of their personal growth, because without personal growth, there's not much of a future, is there, really? It's about bringing wisdom in as well, and opening up to the energies that are around us and expressing those in a creative form. And it's good for everybody, children, you know. But I don't think children have enough art in their lives, really. Well, my grandkids do. When they come round, all the paints have been out today, you know.
Right.
But some kids don't get that opportunity, do they? You know.
No, and you know, I had felt quite limited even in school, because even though we had art, there was only, you know, certain things that we were exploring, you know. And, you know, my niece had said to me, oh, I'm not really into painting. And I said, well, there must be something creative. And she actually made the most amazing mixed media collage yesterday.
There you go.
And she was so focused, so inspired. I'm like, see, you don't have to paint. I mean, some of it was paint. It was mixed.
Your sister with her makeup.
Oh, my God. That's her mum. And, her makeup and special effects stuff is off the charts. So, yeah, it's just, you just find whatever it is your niche. And
well, I think in schools they're trying to get you to be like, well, there's a vase of flowers, draw it, and
so that technical side,
accurate as possible. All right, there are skills in art.
Yeah.
You don't need to go down that route to call yourself an artist, you know. And you don't need to have degrees. And I know, you know, people work very hard for those degrees. At one time in my life, I thought that was very important, that you wouldn't be able to progress without a degree. But now I've come to realise that, you know, it's a continuous journey anyway. Yeah. And it's always evolving. And, you know, what you believe one week is different next week, you know, and that goes with art as well as your spiritual beliefs. Yeah. So, yeah, I think it's important for everybody to find their niche.
Yeah, play. Don't forget to play. You
absolutely.
Know, and just do it for the sake of doing it and nothing else. You know?
Yeah, even if it's cooking.
Yeah. You know?
That's how they create new recipes.
Yeah.
So, but all you people out there, get creating.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. Definitely supporting.
There are no rules. Rules are there to be broken.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
know, there's no rules at all, really. You know, as long as you've got good morals, you know, and you know the difference between right and wrong. But with art, you can't really go wrong because everything is art, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Everything around us is art.
It's our own selves we have to get over. I was my biggest judge, you know, and as soon as I let go of that judge in myself, it became so much easier. And you'll realise, God, so many people were appreciating my art when I wasn't appreciating my art. You know, it tickles me now when I have a friend that's got a lot of my paintings from my early days and she cherishes them. And I'm like, God, I used to, like, I was literally giving them away because I just had no value on them whatsoever. But yeah, now I can really see it's all part of it and they are appreciated by people. So just make it part of your journey.
And I think if you aim, well, personally, I don't aim to sell anyway, like we discussed earlier.
Right.
I'm doing it because my inner needs, I need to do that.
To create, yes, yeah.
And like I said before, you know, if someone likes it, then yeah, that's great.
Right, exactly.
You know, perhaps there's something in there, a message in there for them.
Yeah. Well, I know I get a lot out of your creations. I always have, and I'm so grateful that you do. Well, thank you for being here with me today.
My pleasure.
Could talk to you forever. And anyone that's tuned into this video, I'd love to hear your comments or feedback. Please, I encourage you to go over to Willow's Quirky Corner on Facebook. Give her a like. Just
thank you.
What she's always posting, what she's creating, and little snippets of her journey on there, and it's a magical place to be. So I highly encourage you to support her work in any way you can, even if it's just a post share. That goes a long, long way. So thank you for being here. Stay tuned for more wonderful Alchemy of Art conversations with me. And thank you again, Willow.
And thank you.